Welcome to Golden Mastermind Seminars Radio with your host, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs, President and Founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Welcome to Tuesday, 2 for Tuesday, Facebook Live. It's the last Tuesday of July, the year of our Lord, 2022. Welcome, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here with you in year number 23. This is the 23rd year of hosting either a live call or a Facebook Live on Tuesday. The original live call was a conference call called More Heart Than Talent. And that was my mindset call. Actually, it originally started as a women's workshop in 1998. My first half year of coaching began in August 1998. I had a 7-figure direct sales business. I sold the genealogy of that business, started my coaching business in August of 1998. Al, good to see you this afternoon. Jared, good to see you. Beth Ireland, good to see you. Aaron Knight, good to see you. I'm just covering some of my history of myself and this Facebook Live. This Facebook Live was originally a Tuesday afternoon call at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then I moved it in the second year of my coaching in 1999 to Tuesday nights, 7:30 Pacific, and it had as many hundreds of people were following it at the same time. At the peak, there would be 500 to 1,000 people listening to that More Heart Than Talent mindset call. On that call, I interviewed John Assaraf, Jim Rohn twice. I interviewed Jim Rohn twice on that call. I interviewed Dr. Joe DiMartini twice, John Assaraf 3 times. Who else did I interview? I interviewed Mark Victor Hansen 3 times on that Facebook Live. I interviewed Brian Tracy and a multitude of people that I interviewed on that. Actually, it was the More Heart Than Talent mindset call. And there are some of those calls recorded in the back office of my website on Podomatic and podcast. So you may be able to find some of those gems from back in the day. I also have a 10 CD audio program called More Heart Than Talent, The Masters, that does have Jim Rohn. It has Mark Victor Hansen and John Assaraf on that CD set. That is a 10 CD audio program. I believe Joseph David Shermer has that CD set. So welcome, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here with you. This is the 23rd year of hosting the More Heart Than Talent mindset and the 2 o'clock or the 1 o'clock Facebook Live. So originally this started out as a mindset call at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. The topic for today's Facebook Live is mastering self-talk. So to be able to master your emotions so you can master your communication style. Today alone, I've coached 6 hours one-on-one of clients, and I have been assisting people to understand that their sentence structure is filled with kinda, guess, I don't know, probablys, and I had to say. The most prevalent words, sounds, and run-on words that the American populace uses in a sentence is guess, kinda, and I don't know. Many Americans will insert I don't know in a sentence without even knowing it. And they will say it back to back. Aretha, good to see you. Scott Lucas, good to see you. Joseph David Shermer, good to see you. And good to see all of you here this afternoon. Jeffrey Feldman, if I did not mention your name, it's because it's already past my screen. But if you make a comment, you will pop back up and I will recognize you. I saw Al Perhax in New Jersey. So it's good to see all of you. And just a little insight in down the rabbit hole I have heard, be prepared for food shortages, prepare yourself for 3 to 4 months. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, prepare yourself. I mean, be prepared for the unexpected right now. And that is not something that you fear, be in anxiety and doubt. It's you prepare yourself. I mean, you prepare and execute. And if you're in that preparation mode and the action mode, then you're going to be able to flourish in whatever happens in the near future or the distant future, because you are enough. And when you are enough, you will be able to attract enough because you are enough. And so those are also words that you begin to integrate in your self-talk. Self-talk also is affirmations, to affirm. On my website, if you have not purchased them, I have a affirmation card deck, More Heart Than Talent Mindset card deck, and it's a More Heart Than Talent affirmation deck. 52 cards written in present tense. Word is law. Ace Rich, good to see you this afternoon. Joe Casper, good to see you this afternoon. The syllabus for today's Facebook Live, it was written out right there a few weeks ago, and then this is the syllabus that you can find on your email. So point number one, Roman numeral number one is, what do you say when you talk to yourself? There was a book written in the 80s, written by the late Shad Helmstetter, and the name of the book is What Do You Say When You Talk to Yourself? I mean, that's the name of the... So what do you say when you talk to yourself? Well, consciously, unconsciously, there's a lot of unconscious communication that you are not good enough. And if that is you, it is time today to address, release, and let go of that. Joe Shermer was at my event over the weekend, and he was assisting people with stating and being able to shout out affirmations. And I have been teaching affirmations for years, speaking into existence, reality you are creating. I am good enough. I am lovable. I am the leader that people are looking for. To my reality, I attract quality, like-minded, enlightened success seekers. So this is the communication that you're able to deliver, to communicate into the universe. And in right now, you also want to be able to say, in the law, I live in the law of plenty, so that no matter what is happening in today's world, you are living in plentifulness. It means there's a lot you'll be able to attract to your reality. And Aretha said she purchased her first NFT. That is amazing, Aretha. I have a man who is in that industry, and he's achieved 7 figures a month. He's one of my clients in that industry. So that means he understands in the law of plenty. And Ace Rich just said abundance. So abundance is abundance, prosperity, law of plenty, not the law of the few. There's no scarcity. You want to be in prosperity, in the flow. So in your communication, you want to be able to develop a communication style that's 5 to 15 words. 5 to 15 words, so that you don't have an ROW. ROW is run on words. Those of you who have coached with me for years or followed me for years, seen me speak multiple times, you understand that I assist people to have clarity in your communication. The average attention span of the average person in communication is 28 to 31 seconds. Joseph Shermer was at my event this 2 weekends ago, and he saw me interrupt a few people who were telling a story. Now, they said they had a question, but their question actually turned into a story, and I would use their first name, and I would say, Susan, do you have a question? I was not being rude. I was being clear. Because if I wouldn't have interjected that, most of society will just talk. It's ROW, run on words. Many people will go to answer a question, and their answer becomes a story. That is part of their neurological network of neurons that wire and fire, that form their feelings, meaning that as they were conditioned as a child, they were taught to validate, justify, and explain. And that will not bring a result when you own a business, especially a business that requires sales skills, marketing skills, branding skills, communication skills, and leadership skills. People will follow people who believe what they believe. And if you believe you're not good enough, you'll attract other people to your reality who will also believe that you are not good enough. Now, Ace Rich is on today's Facebook Live. Ace Rich, that's a man and a woman. They were both clients of mine, exceptional people. They are superstar, rock star internet marketing coaches, and they assist people in building brands. And you can follow them. You can find them on Facebook, Ace Rich. People I highly recommend that you follow and or purchase their products, because they are very skilled branding coaches. They are very skilled at building an online image. And they understand also how to write blogs, how to write emails, how to do Facebook ads, how to attract to their reality people in situations that will fulfill cause, meaning, and purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, then you will be lost in this universe. Your purpose right now is to create commerce in free enterprise. It is that simple. But if you have to overcomplicate that, and you feel like JoJo the Indian circus boy and girl, and you can't figure that out, then you're going to have challenges in today's world. Your purpose is to be able to deliver service and value. Whether you're being compensated or not, that becomes the fundamental foundation. But you have to believe that you are valuable. If you don't believe you're valuable, then you have no value. And instead of raising your price, you raise your value. You scale that in consciousness. So word is law. Words do not return void. Those are words from Florence Scovel Shinn from her classic book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, Chapter 3. Words do not return void. So that means what you speaketh is what you attract. James Allen wrote the book, As a Man Thinketh, which really is As a Man Speaketh. So what you speak into existence will be a component of what you attract your reality. And what you're attracting right now is a byproduct of either trauma bonds, pain patterns, anxiety, fear, or doubt, or the other side of that is you're attracting prosperity, you're attracting abundance. My friend Barbara Williams is on today's Facebook Live. Barbara is a world-renowned dog trainer. That is her niche. She is world-renowned in her niche. Barbara, go ahead and post your website. Barbara trains a specific type of dog. She is a dog whisperer. And so she understands how to communicate with that dog. But most importantly, she also understands how to communicate with the dog's owners and the people who are purchasing those dogs. And she is very, very skilled at closing sales, providing value, providing service, aftercare of that dog. She's branding a product right now. She's in that process. So the more that you understand the delivery, the communication. I was coaching one of my best clients I've ever coached right before this call, Brittany Cara. Brittany is a rock star woman, a woman I suggest you highly follow. She is a woman who can absolutely stand the gaff. She's a woman who can stand up to tyranny, and in the face of it, she can take on all the haters and the other people that challenge her beliefs. She's a deep Christian and someone whose belief is not wavering. And so her word is law. In that belief that she's in, her word is law. Now, this didn't happen overnight for her. I've known her since 2014. I've been her coach since then. That's going on 9 years. And she's the woman she was at 2014. She was on the journey. She had just written a book about the food industry. And it's a very interesting transition that she has made. And here she is today, 3 kids, homeschooling, and well on her way to a 7-figure income from the comfort of her home. Anyone could do this, but very few people will stay in the process long enough to master their emotions. So your emotional state will determine the way you communicate. So if you're not good enough, first of all, the energy will transmute that. So if you're not good enough, your energy will transmute that you're not good enough. Tracy Calvert is on today's Facebook Live. If you get a chance, look at Tracy's before and after pictures. I saw her post it yesterday. And I've been Tracy's coach since 2018, so that's going on 4 years. Her transformation is amazing. Tracy, I don't know how many days of sobriety she has, but it's over 1,000, and that is an amazing situation right there. So Tracy is also someone understand word is law. The people I've coached that I coach for years, their communication style definitely changes. They begin to communicate in clarity. They begin to communicate with a vision. They begin to communicate from the outcome that they're seeking to create. They're able to ask questions in a sequence, in a very relaxed body. When you're building a business, your responsibility is to attract the clients who see the value in your products, your services, your benefits, and your features. So Tracy just said 3 years, October 7th. Amazing. Congratulations. So the way you articulate is a direct reflection of how you feel about yourself. If someone asks you a question, and this is very common, and I'll ask people questions and they go into fight or flight, and their body is making me one of their parents. They're going into a checkout mode, and so they're in a hypervigilant state of fight or flight, overwhelmed. And then there's gaps and delays in that communication style, and they go, is a sound, it's not a word. A large percent of the world starts a sentence with the sound, which means they go right there in their left brain. They go right up here in the neocortex of their left brain. Vivian, good to see you this afternoon. Nadia, I'm looking forward to coaching you tonight. I let Brittany know that you are a rock star in transition. And there are many of you that are beginning to understand this. Tracy, thank you, Tracy. Tracy Calvert's a woman of influence and affluence. I also endorse as a leader in action. She is a woman who I've watched her, I've coached her for 4 years, but I watched her transition in year number 2. If you get a chance, look at her before and after pictures from 4 years ago. Tracy, C-A-L-V-E-R-T, C-A-L-V-E-R-T. Aaron Knight's another man who's on today's Facebook Live. Aaron is a Patriot Truther from Canada. I had the privilege of coaching Aaron for 3 years. Brianna Bragg just joined us. Brianna is also an exceptional woman. She was my meditation coach at my Millionaire Blueprint event this past weekend. She also understands in clarity, world is law. She showcased a program called Vacation of the Mind. Brianna is an exceptional woman who had a vision of where she wanted to live. She left a multiple 6-figure business that did not empower her any longer, and now lives in Costa Rica and has also lived in Tulum, Mexico, and she builds her business online from wherever she wants to live. Ace Rich is also doing the same thing in Puerto Rico. Lisa Faye Pazanzas has joined us. If you get a chance, watch some of Lisa's videos. She is very good with a deck of cards. Lisa Faye Pazanza, P-O-S-S-A-N-Z-A. She's also the mother of an exceptional young man, Josh Pazanza, who I have the privilege of coaching. Aaron says, my coaching is transformational, highly recommended. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of the compliments and accolades that you are sending back to me, but I endorse all of you because you've endorsed all of me. If you're on this Facebook Live today, you are in this process of the trifecta. Here's the trifecta. First of all, emotional sobriety. Emotional sobriety means that you're in the process of letting go. You're letting go of narcissistic, passive-aggressive relationships. You're in the process of letting go of not being good enough. You're in the process of letting go of attachments you have to money and people and situations and stature and recognition, and you're letting go of that, and you're beginning to understand that the only recognition you require is God's and your own. And when you start to let go of your attachments to outcomes and you start to understand what being non-attached means, then you can begin to practice emotional recovery. And then the recovery is you bring that together concurrently with consciousness. So consciousness then is the component that bonds the recovery. Because once you bond sobriety and recovery, emotional sobriety and emotional recovery, and you bond that to consciousness, now you begin to scale the map of consciousness. So energy is calibrated in cycles per second, or hertz. So when you are transmuting from a panic attack or panic patterns or not good enough in a hypervigilant state, and when your word that is law says, I don't know where to begin, I wouldn't know where to start. And then when you also edify how difficult and challenging life is right now, and when you also edify how challenging it is, your health, and you continue to edify your silent suffering, well, then you just manifest it. And David Hawkins, in his brilliant book, Healing and Recovery, will assist you in the chapter on suffering and pain. It's called Pain and Suffering. That's the chapter on page 299. He breaks that down, how to separate the two. Because if you're in pain, that doesn't mean you have to suffer. But when you edify the two together, then they're bonded. So you can be a pain and begin to dissociate yourself from that pain. That is word is law. So my pain is my pain, but my pain is not my personality. And I'm learning to neutralize the pain. So that's another affirmation that you begin to speak into existence, so you can separate the pain from the trauma that created that pain. And the more you understand mind-body connections, and you are no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings, now this separation happens. So you can actually observe your past without it owning you. Amber Scavone has joined us. Amber and her fiance Rick Stout are exceptional clients of mine. I've known them for 6 years. Amber just gave me an edification this afternoon. Thank you so much, Amber. Amber said, your coaching has changed my life for the better. I am in recovery and learning non-attachment. Great coaching session Monday. And then Ace says, my son is reading Letting Go by David Hawkins and he's 15. That's amazing. That is amazing. So Ace of Ace Rich just pointed out that her son is already reading Letting Go at age 15 years old. I believe your son's name is Angel. That is correct, Ace. So thank you for sharing that content with us this afternoon on Facebook Live. Topic for today's Facebook Live is your self-talk. Master your self-talk. So it's concurrent. Master your emotions, master your self-talk so you communicate in clarity. I told my wife today that she is an angel, the love of my life, and I would never leave her. So that my word is my law, that my wife and I will die together. So word is law. So when word is law, when your word is your law, that's your bond. And when you believe your word, when you believe what you say, then you believe your belief. And then you'll attract other people who have that word as their law. And then this is how you begin to attract people who are committed versus the people who are interested. When you play the game half-assed and you're not certain and you're overwhelmed and then you go out and you try and recruit people, well, it just doesn't happen like that. The magical, mythical people you're seeking to show up, they don't show up because they can tell that you're not committed. They can feel your interest, and they sometimes can see around your low self-esteem and go, wow, that's a good value. I'm going to buy it anyway because of this. But that person is they can feel that. So that's until you actually believe that. So when you believe what you believe, when your belief changes, your sense of certainty, then you will not be denied. And then you will not be attached to how long it takes. People get an attachment and they say things, I should be further along. You shouldn't, because that's so over the top, because if you should be further along, you would be there. When you can accept who you are, where you are, that is recovery. I remember going to my first AA meetings and this is how I was back then. I was 31 years old. I was young and dangerous, and I wanted 10 years of sobriety, RFN, right fucking now. Well, it didn't happen like that. I went to a speaker meeting. The guy had 17 years of sobriety, and I was so impressed with him. And I'd gone into that program as an atheist, and I was agnostic, and I wanted to be a Christian and find God like overnight. I wanted to just inhale it, and that's how I was as an addict. I had no attention span, I had no patience, and I wanted everything right now. So because that's who I was then, I was never willing to pay the price. That showed up in my athletic career. I played 4 sports for 6 years, and I never could be the athlete I was capable of because I could never focus on one sport. So because I could never focus on one sport, then I could never focus on anything. And that's how I was. I would have like this business, and I'd be doing this and that, and I'd have this friend and that friend, and I was all over the map. And the most important breakthrough I had in my early recovery was patience. And I used to say, I'm not a patient person. Well, that was my law. So if I keep edifying that I'm not a patient person, then I'm going to have this shiny object syndrome, and I'm going to go from here to there, and from this woman to that woman, and this restaurant to that restaurant. I mean, I used to have 3 jobs. That's how over the top I was. I would have 3 jobs because one's too many and 1,000's not enough. Because job might go away, so if that job goes away, or actually what would happen is I'd get fired. I had a tendency to get fired because I was cocky, arrogant, an addict, a thief, a thug, a drug dealer, and a drug addict. I mean, how about that for a 10-fecta? That's where I was when I was 24 to 31, living, and my word had nothing. It didn't mean anything because I was a pathological liar. And so in my recovery, I learned that rigorous honesty is rigorous honesty, and word is law. My name is Jeffery Combs, president and founder of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. If you are on today's Facebook Live and would like to coach with me, find out more about my coaching, Andre, how are you? Gene Howard, good to see you this afternoon. Good to see all of you here. Andre, my brother, a little fist five for stepping out here. But if you're on my Facebook Live today and you're a former client and would like to re-engage with me, send me a Facebook message. Or if you are an existing client and would like to connect with me, I have a value package this afternoon that would include Millionaire Blueprint for 1 or 2 people. So if you want to find out about that, Millionaire Blueprint, by the way, is going to be December 9th and 10th. So that would be December 9th and 10th. And that will be the Rockstar event of my year. So that would be I just started speaking again in July, so it was good to be back in that energy. I'll be doing 2 events a year in Stockton, California, Millionaire Blueprint. My next one will be December 9th and 10th. And I believe the sign-up page is on my website. Have an outstanding afternoon, everyone. Jeffery Combs, President and Founder, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Amber says, Andre, I miss you. I know the two of you met at one of my events. So have a great afternoon, everyone. Love all of you. Have an outstanding end of July. And I'll be back here tonight at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 9 p.m. Pacific. Have a great afternoon.